Olá pessoal, e hoje eu trago para vocês a palestra que eu dei no simpósio da MUFON em agosto agora de 2023 em Cincinnati, nos Estados Unidos. Vem comigo que você vai assistir na íntegra e de forma inédita e exclusiva, você só encontra aqui nesse canal, a palestra sobre a ufologia no Brasil, que eu levei lá para os gringos, lá para os Estados Unidos. Bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite, boa madrugada, aonde você estiver. Eu sou o THIAGO LUIZ TICCHETTI. Sejam bem-vindos ao canal Desvendando Mistérios. E hoje eu trago para vocês a minha palestra. Eu falei sobre a ufologia, a história, os casos mais importantes, intrigantes e interessantes da ufologia brasileira lá no simpósio da MUFON nos Estados Unidos, agora em agosto de 2023. Fui levar para aquele pessoal um pouco mais sobre o que acontece aqui no nosso país com relação ao fenômeno ufológico. No final, uma homenagem muito especial e muito mais do que merecida para o eterno Jevaer. Então vem comigo nessa palestra que eu levei lá para os Estados Unidos, sobre a ufologia nacional no simpósio da MUFON em Cincinnati, nos Estados Unidos. Mas antes de começarmos essa palestra, não se esqueçam de se inscrever no canal. Marque também o sininho para sempre que tiver um vídeo novo, você não perder e ser avisado. Mas olha, de vez em quando o YouTube desmarca o sininho, então fique sempre de olho. Dê também um like nos quase 500 vídeos do canal. Claro, deixe seu comentário, faça sua pergunta, eu quero saber o que você pensa. E também compartilhe o canal, compartilhe os vídeos. Quem sabe até o final do ano nós conseguimos chegar aos 20 mil inscritos no canal. Eu conto com vocês. Então vamos lá, para a minha palestra no Simpósio da MUFON 2023 em Cincinnati, nos Estados Unidos. No final, uma homenagem ao eterno Jevaer.
Can we take our seats, please? Okay, just a quick reminder, Representative Tim Burchett will be here on Zoom tomorrow morning from 8:15 to 8:45. So please join us if you can. Next speaker. THIAGO Luis TICCHETTI has researched the UFO phenomena for about 30 years and was vice president of the UFO Research Group, initials EBET, in Brasilia, Brazil, for almost 10 years. He is co-editor and columnist for Revista UFO, columnist for the British UFO magazine UFO Truth, president of the Brazilian Commission on Ufologists, national director of MUFON in Brazil, and a certified field investigator and a STAR team member of MUFON. THIAGO is author of 13 books, including Guide to Extraterrestrial Typology, UFO Files, UFO Cases Volumes 1, 2, and 3, Unusual Universe, The Logbook, Parts 1 and 2, and UFO Contacts in Brazil. TICCHETTI has also authored dozens of texts and articles for Revista UFO magazine and other ufological publications. He has participated in programs on the History Channel, Net Geo, and Discovery, as well as radio shows, podcasts, and interviews here and abroad. He has interviewed some of the greatest ufologists in the world for Revista magazine and for his YouTube channel. THIAGO holds a degree in business administration and an executive MBA from the Brazilian Institute of Capital Markets, and is currently studying for an MBA in International Cooperation and Public Policy. He is also my very best friend in Brazil and one of the best people we have in ufology. Please give a warm welcome from Brasilia, Brazil, for THIAGO TICCHETTI.
Thank you, my friend.
Go get him.
Working? Just a second. You know, when you have a dream when you're a child, this dream is coming true for me, not as a child, but to be here is a very honor, and I thank you, MUFON, David, Donald, everybody that bring me to USA. I have many mistakes in English because it's not my main language. I speak Portuguese, Spanish, Italian, but English is not my perfect language. And we will talk now about what happened in Brazil. Brazil is a large country. The fifth largest country in the world. Since 2002, 647 cases have been registered in the MUFON CMS. In Brazil, on average, 15 UFO cases are registered per month. It's too many cases to one single person to investigate. And I'm sure that many more cases occurring in inner country of Brazil, because we have the forests, we have not desert, but have very remote areas in Brazil that we cannot get there. See, whatever, by car, by airplane, they're very far. Cities are very far from each other in the north of Brazil. And I will start this, our travel through the Brazilian history, UFO history, in 1846, the first time that a UFO sighting was recorded in a newspaper. It was by this man, Lieutenant Commander Augusto Laverger, that he was, he was in a boat on a river Paraguay, between Brazil and Paraguay.
He was in a boat with militaries, and he saw 3 UFOs in the sky. These UFOs, 3, large, like a sphere, like a ball. 2 of the UFOs just zip away and disappear. The other one divided in 3. The same UFO divided in 3. And that was wrote in the newspaper in Brazil for the first time. And then we got Asunción in Paraguay, the Paraguay capital. He was very astonished because he was not the only one that saw the UFOs. Many people in Asunción saw the UFOs as well. And they told him that one of the UFO could be crashed in Asunción Mountains. But it was in 1846. No one went there to investigate. And there's a thin line between friendly contact and the potentially fatal contact. I know that air pilots are warned not to shoot against UFOs. Why? Maybe the response was not so friendly, because we are not friendly if we do that. So this case, known in Brazil as the case of the man who melted the death of Mr. João Prestes on March 5th, 1946, a resident of Araçariguama, state of São Paulo, as a result of burns caused by a light, supposedly shot by a UFO. Well, Mr. Prestes just got home and went to take a shower. And suddenly, a light just filled up his house, the whole house, through the walls, through the ceiling. And he started to feel his face burn, his hands, his legs. And he started to feel a pain he never felt before. He reported, as I said, that the flash came from somewhere, crossing the rooms of his house, and hit him immediately. He felt his body to burn. The chest, the neck, and the face, with the upper lip, nose, and the ears were falling to pieces, melting, falling from the bones. The face was even roasted. His hair and clothes didn't burn, just inside, like a microwave. His grave. And according to the autopsy report, the third-degree burns on João's body were not caused by kerosene or any other fuel. There are also no signs of soot. The hair and the clothes had not even been burned. This case was not investigated by the military or the police or nothing. The cause of death was unknown. Burned. By what? And he never did nothing against that light or the UFO that shot that light. But we think that he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And we jump a little to the year of 1964, was marked by hundreds of sightings in Brazil, several UFO waves around the world, landings, and contacts with no human beings. And in Brazil, some of the clearest photos of a UFO were taken. This is actually newspaper and magazine photos. You can see there's a sign in the photo show the UFO. It was 3 UFOs. 3 standing over the city of Curitiba in Paraná state of Brazil in December of 1954. 3 flying saucers, I call flying saucers. And it was a news in every newspaper of Brazil. And now you have a better close of the UFO. This photo was took by a photographer that was in a newspaper, a photographer of a newspaper, and he went down from the office and take this photo. You can see the shape. You can see that it's metal, like metal, that shine. And many of the witnesses said that this UFO just stood hovering the city like this, like it was wobbling, but stop it at the same time. It took for 2 hours. And after 2 hours, some witnesses say that airplane, just not a jet fighter, but a regular airplane, appeared in the skies of Curitiba. And then, only then, the UFO flew away and disappeared. That case, the Brazilian Air Force investigate. And what was their conclusion? It was a balloon. We heard that before. A very huge balloon that's staying in the sky, wobbling against the wind, and when appear on a plane, just disappear. It's very easy to explain UFO, right? As I said, every action generates a reaction. On August 3rd, 1967, one of the most impressive cases of Brazilian ufology took place. The foreman, Inácio de Souza, spotted a flying saucer landed on a farm where he lived and worked. He shot in one of the object's crew members. In return, he was hit by a beam of light. Almost two months later, Inácio dies of leukemia. Well, Inácio got home, and in a farm there's a airplane landing. So he thought there might be a car or thieves trying to steal the farm, and he was with his wife Maria. And he asked him, "Grab my gun." I tried to make him go away, and he saw that it was not a car. Upon arrival, the residents, as I said, the couple noticed that there was a foreign object in a property airstrip. The people were small. They thought it was kids playing. The object has the shape of a ball, turned upside down, and the size was almost 35 meters in diameter or length. It's too big to be a car, too big to be an airplane, that he knows. next to UFO, they saw 3 persons who were wearing a one-piece suit. The color of their skin, yellowish white. They're playing, just playing, very happy. But in silence. Who here has kids, grandkids? Which kid plays in silence? No kids play in silence. I know that. If they're in silence, it's because there's a problem. Always at my house, I ask if I hear nothing, it's too silent, I ask, son, daughter, where are you? What are you doing? You have to make sure. You have to make sure. And suddenly, when they saw the couple, they pointed a finger to them. Oh, we saw you. They are looking at us. And they starting running towards them. What do? You have a gun, you shoot, of course. He asked to his wife to get away, to go to the house, and he shoot. He was a very good shooter. He would not miss a shot. And he did. Inácio shot one of that was closest to them. And he hit it. He got it. But that kid, that child, just jumped one step behind and running toward the UFO. And immediately the UFO shot him a beam of light that got him in the chest. And Maria ran back to help his husband grab the rifle, she would try to shoot them, but the UFO just take it off and disappear. A few days later, Inácio died of leukemia. Well, some say he had the leukemia before, he didn't know that, and, well, he died. But he had exams a couple of months before this episode, and he was in perfect health. Maybe if he had leukemia, that beam of light just started the disease. Or he got leukemia because of that shot. And Inácio was buried, and his wife just moved the city, and we never heard more about her. This case also was not investigated. This was considered like a leukemia disease, leukemia death. Reason of the death was leukemia, so there's nothing to investigate. But Inácio was a serious man. He was part of the church of that community, and never talked or knew about UFOs or extraterrestrials. Again, as I said, a reaction, the response of a reaction was a death. And imagine, here in the United States, very famous wrestling in the United States. In Brazil, it's not so famous, but here in the United States, you have many champions of wrestling, Olympic gold medals. But imagine you wrestling an alien. Wow. It's like universe championship. And that happened on December 25th in 1968. Daildo de Oliveira was a night guard at a power station. Well, what was his duty? He started to work at 7 p.m. and had to walk all the area of the power station to see if everything is okay, if everything is working. It's a normal day. But in one moment, he was doing this routine shift, and he saw a shadow of a man beside the shed. Well, he was the only one to work there. Who would be there? It's a thief, of course. And Daildo just run and saw a very strange figure, taller than him, stronger than him, with one-piece suit, white, and his face is like brown. Well, he's bigger than me, he's stronger than me, what can I do? Daildo took a plastic tube and went over to the intruder. And he tried to get him from behind with the tube. The beam divided. Soon after, another beam came from out of the shed, and the three began to fight. 2 against 1, 2 aliens against 1 human. It's not fair. It's not fair. He was not Rambo. He was not Rambo. He's not, you know. So he start to fight, and Daildo was strong. Was not weak, but he was a strong man. But he could not with 2. And another being appeared. Now it was 3 against 1. Oh, Daildo must be Superman, because it's impossible. They put Daildo on the ground, and Daildo thought, well, now it's my end. I'm gonna die here. I don't know who they are. I don't know what they're gonna do, but they're gonna die here. And suddenly, one of the beings picked him up and patted, excuse me, Paul, on his shoulder. Just like, oh, good fight, we had fun, now we are leaving. And Daildo stood up, stand up, and was watching the 3 men, large, big man, just go in the corner of the office, the shed, and disappear. And he saw a huge ball of light, a ship in form of sphere, of ball. Very bright, a yellow bright, just arise, make a pendulum movement, and disappear. And Daildo was, whoa, what happened here? And this case was investigated by Brazilian Air Force, and that photos are from the Brazilian archives, their photos, and their war marks of a landing gear behind the fence of the power station. And they found as well the place where the Daildo tried to hit the alien, and he divided and hit the wall of the shed. The mark was there. And Daildo, of course, I give it up. I don't want to work here anymore, because there are ghosts here, there are something different here that I can understand. And during the investigation of this case, many people came up and said, oh, I saw a light. I saw light 2 days before, I saw light 1 day after the event, I saw the light the same day of the case, of the event. And the Brazilian Air Force, for this time, they got a conclusion. It was a helicopter. Yes, a helicopter with 3 pilots that you know why, you don't know why, tried to fight with a guard. Why? And that was, it became a joke between the ufologists back that time, that now we have the balloons, now we have a helicopter, the next one going to be what? A spaceship, a Columbia, something like that. So this case is very interesting because Daildo, he's dead of course, but he always claimed what he saw. I saw that, I fought with 3 people that I don't know. They were not Brazilian. They didn't speak. They didn't talk anything, but they were very strong. And they went to the ball of light. And now let's take a breath, drink water. A woman gives water to an alien. This is also a very famous case in Brazil. And I know that some of you might know this about this case. On August 25th, 1968, Maria Sintra, an employee of a sanatorium in the city of Lins in São Paulo, woke up to start another day of work when she saw a woman at the door of the building. Oh, she's here because she wants to be, need some help to get to the sanatorium. As she went down, she found a young woman with white skin and blonde hair, who handed her a jar of water as if she wanted to fill it. And that jar was beautiful. It's simple. It was simple, but very beautiful, as Maria told to investigation. This case was also investigation by the Brazilian Air Force, the COANI, the System of Investigation of UFOs. The conclusion, they had no conclusion. For the first time, they think this case is real, we cannot explain, because you're gonna see why. This is one of the official photos of the investigation, Maria getting water, and the person behind her, in the side of her, plays the role of the alien. So they were very close. She recreates the moment when she fills the jar with water. And Maria said, the water here is very good. You can drink it, very good, because she can't understand what the alien said, because the alien said nothing. And when trying to say something, it's like grooming, like she can't understand. Well, and then she gave the water to the alien. The alien, thank you, drink a little, ask for more, fill it up again, the jar, and just turn around and start to go away. And Maria was looking, well, where she's going? She's going to the park lot. It's not the exit. She's going to the park lot. And the alien just turned a fence, a gate, and Maria was there. Where she's going to be? There's no car at the park lot. And she saw a huge UFO, a spaceship. She said, a spaceship. I'm going to show how. The drawing is funny, but you understand why. She saw the spaceship just rise and disappear. The next day, she told it to the director. The next day, no, in the morning of the same day, she told the director what she saw. And he said, well, Maria, are you sure? Are you not dreaming? No, I'm sure. I gave her, and when I saw that thing just going up, it was there. And then they went there to find this burned area. Maria is over the place that was burned, the grass was burned. Probably where the UFO landed. For many years, the grass never grew again. Many years. They tried to plant another grass or put water, but was nothing make the grass grow again. The soil was sterilized. And it was the shape of the UFO. Don't laugh. This drawing was made by the Brazilian Air Force drawing artist. And it was on the most important case of the Brazilian ufology, because for the first time, the Brazilian Air Force concluded that this story, the history, the event was true. Something happened there they cannot explain, and at the same time, they found evidence. They found evidence in the ground. They took soil to examine it, but the result, we never got the results. And Maria always said that what she saw was true, and she didn't make it up. And later investigation showed that that place, LUIZ in São Paulo, we had 4 or 5 incredible cases there. One, I'm going to show you. But that place, what had that place that attract so many times UFOs to that city of LUIZ in São Paulo? We still don't know. On February 16, 1969, THIAGO Machado had contact with extraterrestrial beings. Well, a Brazilian just wrestling with an alien being. A Brazilian just gave water to an alien. And now, THIAGO gave cigarettes to an alien. What example? What example? Brazilian, we are very, you are very happy people. We just want to help. You want a cigarette? Take one. It's just the way we are. THIAGO Machado, this boy, he saw a luminous he and another witnesses saw a luminous object descend from the sky above 800 meters away in a bush. And when you see something like that, what do you think? Oh, let's run, let's call the police. No, let's go there. It's like the thriller, like the film Scream, film Friday, Jason. Let's run, no, let's go there. Why? But THIAGO was just, all THIAGOs are very brave, And he went there and he saw a spaceship like this, like a disc with 3 landing gears, and an alien very weird with a gun. It's like a cartoon from the 60s, very similar. But one of the alien beings was getting in and getting out of the UFO. Through the door? No, just jumping in and jumping out. Just like crossing the walls. The aliens were 1.5 meters high. They wore tight, aluminized clothing and covered the entire body from the head to toe. At face level, there was a transparent visor, like a helmet, with a glass in the front. The face had a smooth yellow skin with a scar on each cheek. The left eye was at a higher level than the right, just like that. You know, very weird. Thin lips, flattened nose, dark yellow eyes, no pupil, and no yellow eyelash. Two parallel wrinkles above the eyes, and no pupil or eyelash. So, very strange. Very strange. Even if you want to make it up. And again, another ray of light. And THIAGO tried to communicate with them. He had binoculars to try to see closer, and they were approaching to each other. Play the role, Paul, please. They're approaching, and the alien just stood back, behind, and THIAGO take off these binoculars and left the ground, and the aliens walk in the front. And THIAGO took a package of cigarettes and offered to them. And then they, I don't know if I go, if I stay, if I go, if I stay, if I stay, if I go, I don't know. And then THIAGO just left in the ground. One of the means just trying, when he was catching it, the package of the cigarette just go to his hand, float to his hand. Never touched it in the ground, just float to his hand. And he got this package and put it in his chest. And disappeared. Got into his chest. And THIAGO, okay, it's time to go. And when THIAGO was turning to go back, just before takeoff, one of the beings shot a ray of light at THIAGO's cough. The light left a mark. Why? THIAGO didn't do nothing. Maybe the other lady was the woman. They said, I told him to stop to smoke and you give me cigarettes. No, it's not possible. Come on. So, shoot a ray of light in him. And THIAGO got fever for a few days, very thirsty. He stayed in the bed for 2-3 days, and then it's perfect again. But another case where you never provoked any attack of the alien, but what happened? And if we are talking about evidences, well, we ufologists, we don't have the evidence. A friends of mine, do you have a piece of UFO? No, I don't. Do you have an alien, the finger of an alien? No, I don't. So, well, why should I believe? Well, we have evidences. A UFO in the middle of the range. On September 26, 1968 was the year. Henrique Schneider saw a UFO in the middle of his ranch, his farm. The UFO is like a triangle, and two, I don't know if I call them beings or aliens or whatever, two boxes, metallic boxes, descending from the UFO. And Henrique could not move, just like paralyzed. He cannot move. Just watch. This was the official drawing of the case, because it was investigated as well by the Brazilian Air Force, and shows the UFO in the middle of the range, a ramp that came from the UFO, and the two entities just doing what they have to do, and then leaving. A funnel-shaped UFO measuring about 4 meters in height by 2.5 meters in diameter at its base. A tripod with 80 centimeters from below. Something like flickering light illuminated the floor. Like something under the UFO illuminated the floor. But you can see no engines, you can see nothing. He saw these strange creatures, the two boxes, and then he saw that one. An eye, luminous buttons, like a box, like a TV, older TV, and arms. On the belt was a figure, in the belt of the ramp was a figure in a geometric rectangular shape, measuring 1.5 meters in height by 0.5 in width. Behind the first figure, at about 5.5 meters in a straight line, it was the same belt. There was another one, also motionless. How's he? Very strange. And he was a farm. How can make this up? And why? Because he got problems. Look what happened. When the UFO took off, 8 or 10 tiles from the pottery at the point closest to the landing were out of place, as if they had been lifted by gale. How? Wind. And at the landing site, there was a mark of 65 centimeters in diameter. The terrain was pressed 10 centimeters deep. It's too heavy. Whatever it was that landed there was too heavy. Too heavy. To press 10 centimeters like that. Too heavy. And the old truck, in a not so good condition, was parking nearby, had several defects. That battery, the vehicle was old but worked. Now the battery was dead. The dynamo and the starter were affected. That truck never worked again. They changed the battery for a new one. He changed all the pieces of the rotor, the engine of the truck. Nothing make that truck works again. There is no explanation for that. In one of my favorite cases in the whole Brazilian ufology, Operation Plate. What was Operation Plate? The biggest ufological investigation of the Brazilian Air Force. In 1977, the north of Brazil, city of Colares in Pará State, cities in Maranhão State, Amazonia State, the people were leaving the cities because they have been attacked by UFOs, by lights, during the day, during the night, the dawn, anytime. And people start to leave the city. The city became a ghost cities. And the mayors of the cities ask for help. We cannot leave the city, you must help us. And they ask help for the Air Force. Why? Because, why the Air Force? Because there were something in the sky that were shooting rays against people. And that rays, beams of light, got in the woman under the chest or over the chest, and the man in the leg. There were between 100 and 120 cases of that attack. People were so afraid that when got 5 p.m., everybody closed the doors, no one in the streets. People carrying rifles or fireworks to try to avoid to be attacked. And the Brazilian Air Force sent a secret investigation by the time, to get information, testimonies, try to identify what happened, and they returned with more than 500 pages of testimonies, more than 200 of photos, and 25 hours of films of the clearest UFOs. I'm going to show you the film. No, because we don't have it. We don't have this film. We have photos. We have the reports, like this one. But the films are missing. Well, I'm going to call Paul Polite to help me. Missing films. He's very good at that. So I'm going to ask him help. Let's find these films. The Operation Plate was a military operation carried out by the Brazilian Air Force to investigate allegations of the UFOs in the region of Colares, a city in the Pará state. But we know that several cities suffered the same. The operation officially lasted 4 months, but there are strong indications that it was conducted by the US until 1997-8. And some say that the investigation continued until 1982. The Brazilian just investigated for 4 months, from October to December, January. And this drawing was made according to the testimony of the people. There are several types of UFOs. The phenomenon became known as chupa-chupa, suck-suck. Between October and December of 1977, 2 missions were carried out by intelligence agents of Brazilian Air Force. People were being attacked by objects which shot beams of light at them. This lady was one of the victims, Aurora Fernandes. You can see that the mark after she been attacked. And all the people got attacked by this ray of light were diagnosed with anemia. What that means, that ray, that beam of light in some way took the iron from the blood. Why? And officially, there's only one death related to these attacks. Only one. It's a lie. It's a lie. Because as I said, Brazil is so big, north of Brazil. If you want to, the better way to live if you have a mother-in-law. Because one city is here, the other one is like 300 kilometers away. Let's visit mom. It's too far. Now, the cities in the north of Brazil, just like that. And there are some cities that you cannot get by car. You take 8, 10, one day in a boat, in a river. Oh, it's the best place to live. Far away from your mother-in-law. I love my mother-in-law. So, many of the deaths caused by this light, because we know that another cities were attacked, many deaths were never been reported. So just one people died. It's a lie. By the army and the government back that time. And as I said, was several types of UFOs. They attack in the day, in the night. Oh, I'm sleeping at my bed in my house. They don't care. The ray of light just crossed the ceiling and hit you. Like this, one of the shapes. Well, officially, this operation ended in December 1977. But we have thousands of pages of reports of that. And photos, original photos. This was taken in Guarajá River in December 1977, 9 p.m. Who took these photos? The secret agents of the Brazilian Air Force. They took these photos. Or this one. December 10th, 1977 as well. Color, shape. All these informations are in the reports of the militaries. They did that investigation. Baía do Sol Bay, Mosqueiro no Pará, one of the most famous photos. It's a shape, looks like the Go Fast, or not Go Fast, that was shot by the F-14 pilot. What's the name of the? Very similar. Very similar. But it was taken in 1977. Another one. I say, well, just light. Of course, just light. But that light came, landed, took off. And people saw it. People film it. We don't have the film yet. We are looking for it. Well, the conclusion of the operation played was inconclusive. They had no answer. No one never had a report ended that operation. The operation was ended like this. Coronel Holanda, back that time was captain. He was the head of the group. He went to this chief. Now I got photo, I got films. I think we can make contact with the alien beings. And the brigadier said, okay, but case closed, stop the investigation. Why? Case closed, stop it. They stop it. And years later, in 1997, Coronel Holanda, now it's Colonel Holanda, he got in touch with Gevaer and Marco Antonio Petit. And he had some reports, copies of the reports. And he spread all the operation. Bob Pratt went to Amazon to investigate that. And he wrote in his book, UFO Danger in Brazil. Bob Pratt. But another case, though, that case was closed and never got an answer. Denied that Brazil was invaded by UFOs. That was amazing. In 1986. On the night of May 21st, 1986, 21 UFOs, some of them up to 100 meters in diameter, was sighted by thousands of witnesses, civil and military, in 4 states of Brazil: São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, Minas Gerais, and Goiás. These are photos of these UFOs. It's just like snakes, because the movement was very fast. Five Brazilian jet fighters was scrambled to pursue, then fight, and shoot down the UFOs. Because they were not our airfights. They were not airplanes from Brazil. But we have to identify, ask them. We have to arrive. If they don't do that, you can shoot them. Lieutenant Kleber saw 4 UFOs. The ground radar detected nothing. He saw it. He saw it, the 4 UFOs. He saw it. And he called to the control in a land. We see nothing on the stream, on the radar. We see nothing. Well, but I can see it, and they're jumping. Well, we cannot see it. Captain Jordan Kleber saw 2 UFOs. They were multicolored. Captain Viriato saw a UFO. The UFO object accelerated to Mach 15. 15. They were pilots of Mirage, 2 Mirages, and 3 F5 that can get a sound barrier. But this UFO got Mach 15. Impossible even today. Captain Rosenberg saw no UFO, but the ground radar said, well, the UFO is up. You can look it up, because over you, he saw nothing. The Captain Rodolfo saw no UFO, and the ground radar detected it over him. Well, this started 10 o'clock in p.m., and the people in the ground and the Air Force Base in São José dos Campos saw UFO. 2 of the UFOs just descended and they landed. Almost landed. And they start to call the Brazilian National Security. And then the jets were scrambled to pursuit. And people on the ground saw it. There was a couple that saw a UFO just like 100 meters over the Serra Bonita between São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro, just hovering the mountain. And it's just a symbolization how that works. The airplane was always trying to catch them, but they were catching the airplane. Oh. It's going to show just the movement of the airplane, but it's too slow, and the UFOs. And then the airplane goes to the shore of São Paulo State. And while he was over the shore, the UFOs disappears there. And the red UFO appeared there, and then disappear. This scene, this simulation, was made according to Capitão Jordão, because he saw two UFOs, but many of the UFOs. In an instance, he got his airplane and the UFO, 7 in the left side and 6 in the right side. And he never saw it. And the UFOs were huge, but he couldn't see it. And also, after this case, the Brazilian Air Force just make a press conference the next day, but all the pilots in the front of the press, the Ministry of the Brazilian Air Force were there as well to answer all the questions. And they were very honest, because what do you think they were? We don't know. It's impossible. It's something that we cannot explain. In a preliminary report, official report, was said, we conclude, the Air Force, we conclude that object was controlled by intelligence, was not natural phenomena, was not another airplane or balloon or something like that. We cannot explain. And they told us back at that time that they would give an official report of the case. Never happened. Never happened. And we know that one of the jets, one of the F-5, had a camera to film, and he did. Where are the film? Let's ask Dave the Polite, because we don't know. We don't know where they film. And all the talk between the pilots and the control in the ground were recorded and are available at the Brazilian website of National Archives. Anyone can hear it. It's in Portuguese, but anyone can hear it. Almost 10 hours of recordings. In some parts it's amazing, because the pilots say, oh, I see, there a traffic hotel in my left. And the ground said, there's nothing here. Oh, I can't see it. He's jumping in front of my airplane. We cannot see. So it was one of the best cases of Brazil, confirmed by the Brazilian Air Force. And in Brasilia, where I live, a UFO was photographed. This is actually the photo of a UFO. Remember, a UFO is not an extraterrestrial. The UFO is a UAP UFO. We cannot identify. A military police officer also filmed it. On August 21st, 1996, businessmen Agamenon Nascimento and Cassiano Rodrigues were followed by a UFO that stayed over the Paranoá Dam. They were returning from Palmas, capital of Tocantins state in Brazil. And in 1996, we have a neighborhood in Brasilia called North Lake. In 1996, it was a very remote area, just a couple of houses, and it was like 2 in the morning, so very, very remote area. There's no person there, no cars, just them. And they saw a huge light on the left side. And they're coming to Brazil, and the light pursued them. And then in a point of the road, that light just hovered the road, blocking the passage. They cannot go through the road, and they stop it. And then when the UFO just rise a little, just cross, praying, of course, cross it under the UFO. And they start to try to find a post of a police post, something like that, a fireman department, something to show them what they're seeing. And they stop it in several of these posters. And the officers and the firemen, okay, it's a star, it's a star. But it was not a star. And when they reached the Paranoá Dam in Brasilia, they stopped the car, and the UFO stopped over the water. And while over the water, start to mess with the water, below it. And Agamenon has a kid, a son that was there, and he was a professional photographer. And he called him, Marcelo, come here, because you cannot believe what you're gonna see. And his daughter, his son Marcelo, went there and took 36 photos of the UFO. One of this one. And then a couple of policemen arrived. And one of the policemen, Raimundo Galdino, was a corporal. He had a camera, that big camera. He always take the camera just to film the action, his duty. And he started to film it. And this is the actual movie. Where they say that for us it looks like a ball flight, but a photo is like a cylinder. But the witness said that was just like a cross. 3 types of interpretation of the UFO. In 2001, a TV crew observed an object coming from a road, and they filmed it. We investigated. We investigated, and I want you to watch it. Watch it, the UFO. Look at the sparkles. We're talking in 2001. There was no drones. There was no Starlink. It was not a helicopter. We're trying to reproduce that. We went in the same day, the next day in the morning, and the next day at night to find something that could be that. But there was nothing. You can see that thing that makes sparkles. We sent this image to analysis, and the analyst said, well, this is not fake. This is real. And who filmed it? The cameraman, the professional cameraman of the TV crew. And sometimes he lost the UFO. It's not because he moved the camera, because the camera was on a tripod. The UFO was very fast and moving. Look at that. Something like the sun, the solar explosion. There's more, but let's keep on. We investigated. We found nothing. The reporter back that day, they called the Brazilian air control, and they said, oh, we see it in our radar, we can see it, but we don't know what it is. Another case of a probe, that one I think was a probe, this one is still Escapão Redondo probe. I'm going to be a little fast to show you. And this film was taken by a brother and a sister in 1998 in São Paulo. Again, there was no probe, there's no drones, there was no helicopter in this area, because a residential area. And the things start to travel near the cars, start to travel near the electricity posts. We cannot explain it. And get very closer to the street. Don't kick me out, Peter. I have one more, Peter. Come on, just one more. Come on. Ask me if remote control. No, it was not a remote control. We investigate that. We try kite. We try balloon with some lantern. Look at, very close to the street. What was that? In 1998. It was a case of a landing in Peru, in São Paulo, that left marks. I'm going to accelerate. You're going to invite me next year to continue, okay? It's up to you. And the place where the UFO landed in São Paulo was investigated as well. Let me go to the last one, so Peter won't kill me. The Virginia case is very interesting, and we have the testimony of the doctor that treated the agents of the army that died after touching the creature. Go to the next, well, now. The biggest event, okay, the biggest event, 2022. From October to December of 2022, we had more than 30 reports of pilots in Brazil that saw UFOs. A UFO wave in Brazil. 12 flights from different airlines companies reported sightings of these objects. More than 4 UFO sightings. In 4 states, Rio Grande do Sul, Paraná, Curitiba, and São Paulo. And this footage was taken by a Azul Airlines flight in November 8th. The pilot took his cell phone and filmed it. There was no other airplane there. There's no, it's not, come here. I have to do something. I know I have to do something, and I want to hear with me. I want to hear with me. Because we have an honor to do here. Come here. Come here. And, oh, again, there's no explanation for that. Okay, all these cases and much more you can find at Amazon in my book, UFO Contacts in Brazil. Okay, and to finish my presentation in honor of A.J. Jever. Without him, I would never be here. Without him, I would never be a ufologist. Without him, I never knew Peter. So I thank you, AJ, wherever you are. I know that now you know all the secrets. You know everything. So thank you again. Sorry to accelerate, but thank you very much.
Beautiful. Yes, you are my best friend in Brazil, but go away.